In this anxious state you're in right now after the breakup, or perhaps even because of an atmosphere that you grew up with, you have this perception of what taking control means. But if you have always felt this sense of powerlessness, you might not have a realistic understanding of what it looks like to really be in control. Hello, friends. My name is Maria, and welcome to The Other Half, where we know attraction is not just about looks. We also need to take care of the inner half. But if you find yourself chronically suffering from a broken heart in all of your relationships, you might not be as in control of your love life as you thought you were. And that's why today we're going to talk about how you're going to get control back after this breakup. We're going to talk about what it actually looks like to call the shots in your own life. And the best part is, there's not a darn thing your ex can do about it. So grab that bottle of nail polish and let's talk. I'd like to start with an example of something I was telling myself when I was trying to convince myself that this was just me taking control, but really my anxious brain was lying to me. I would tell myself, well, I have to see my ex because we have mutual friends, and it's not fair that I should have to give up my social life just because we broke up. At the time, that thought made me feel like I was in control, but really, I was telling myself that because deep down, I wanted to see my ex. I wanted to look good and let him know what he was missing. I wanted him to miss me. I felt like it was taking control, but I definitely wasn't, because every time I went out and saw my ex, like at a party, and he didn't immediately confess his undying love for me and tell me he wanted to get back together, I would emotionally regress back to the rejected feelings from when we originally broke up. And after that social event where I saw him, I couldn't get out of bed for like the next 3 days. That is not taking control. But the day I decided to take control, I sent a text to a few people I knew, and I said, hey, you guys might not see me for a couple of months. I'm just having a really hard time getting over this breakup, and I hope you understand. And if they don't understand and they pull out all the stops to guilt you into having to see someone who crushed your heart because temporarily they just can't handle it, they probably aren't really your friend. Now, I thought I had to go out and show my ex what he was missing, but then I finally had a shift and I decided, well, he is missing out on something, and he deserves to. They lost you. It's not the other way around. And when you lose something, you no longer have access to it. They betrayed the relationship, so now they don't get to hear your laughter. They don't get to see your smile anymore. And I get how on the surface that does sound a little petty, but for me, it was more of a shift because of what we go through in life. We forget how valuable we are. There are things about you that are lovable and wonderful. For example, your smile. And if you think about it, if you had something valuable, you wouldn't just give it away to anybody. You would be very selective, and maybe not everyone deserves the very best from you. Now, example for me, everyone always tells me, oh, Maria, you're always laughing, you're always smiling, because, I mean, it is true. I'll smile at dang near anybody until you tell me that you love me and discard me like trash a week later. Maybe no more smiles for you. And I finally come to a place in my life where it's like, well, oh yeah, that does make sense. If someone dumps you, you don't flash them your very best smile. But a big part of the problem is everyone tells you, oh, if you want your ex back, you got to get around those mutual friends. Continue to see them every now and again. Always look your best. Always smile. Always talk about light-hearted things and bring up fun times you had together. Ma'am, you are dying inside. Your ex doesn't need to be reminded of fun times at restaurants. You guys were together, and despite how our exes make us feel invisible or like we never existed, you were a part of their life. And you're not that easy to forget. And going forward after the breakup, every time you flash them one of your best smiles, it's completely disingenuous. And it also keeps your ex feeling like they're in control, because people can read energy. Oh, they know that you are smiling for them. They already know that you weren't the one that wanted the breakup. Tell people you know that you're not going to be able to go out for a couple of months. Stay home, watch something funny, and remember what a real smile feels like. And think about it. When's the last time your ex made you smile like that? If you ever smile for them ever again, they're gonna have to do something to have earned it. And if they're too much of a coward to step up, well, that's their choice. And it's their problem. And that's you taking control. Taking control is about you calling the shots about how you decide to live your life before anyone else ever has the chance to, because it is true. If you do not know who you are, if you do not know what you want, everyone else in life is going to tell you. And you will become vulnerable to your life and your emotions being controlled by what everyone else deems is okay to hoist on you. And I know that in life, crappy stuff happens, and we are not always going to be able to have control over it. But if you can take time right now to do small things to teach yourself more emotional self-control, and you can get through something like this catastrophic breakup, it's going to help you with everything else in life later. It's going to help you deal with it better, and it's going to help you rewire your nervous system to know that no matter what happens, you are going to be okay, because you will have learned how to have control over how well you are able to take care of yourself during hard times. And let's go over the next way that you can take control of this breakup. Here's another false control lie that I used to tell myself after breakups. I need to curate my social media to look like I'm having the time of my life, or I'm going out and dating other people, so that way my ex gets jealous and comes back to me. Here is what real control looks like. I'm going to block my ex because I am no longer willing to subject myself to an app deciding whether or not I'm going to feel okay today. But I know that when you block someone on social media right after a breakup, your nervous system is telling you, oh my gosh, if I block them, I will have lost control. I won't be able to see them. I won't be able to keep tabs on what they're doing. Well, first of all, keeping tabs, it's completely false. You cannot ever control what anyone else does. And social media is so blatantly fake. And you'll realize this when you think of all the fake photos you put online, trying to express to your ex that you're doing just fine. And I've posted pictures like this myself. And these are not things that help us feel in control. They feel icky, especially because when you look back and you look at these photos, it doesn't match. The photos don't match with the energy that was going on at that time in your life. Your anxious, nervous system compelled you to post a photo like that. And that's not being in control. That's being triggered into something that is still telling you and your ex that everything is for them. You're still giving all of the focus and all of the control to them. Some people say blocking your ex is childish, but I say fighting for yourself is never childish. That's my stance, and I'm sticking to it. But every breakup is different, and blocking them completely might not be necessary. Every time you go on social media, write down, do you feel better or worse afterwards? And even put a percentage next to it. I was personally finding that on average, I was feeling 35% worse after I went on social media before I blocked my ex. So I took a break from him and his family members. That way I kind of wouldn't see him going through my feed every day. But then I found out I could not stop myself from visiting his social media page, sometimes at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then I couldn't sleep. And then I felt 100% worse. And that's when I knew I was so out of control. I made the decision to block him. That was me taking control. And don't forget, you don't have to block someone forever. Don't let your anxiety take control, and just remind yourself, this is a temporary measure, and it's going to be fine. But one measure that's so good it'll probably stick is cleaning up the painful emotional clutter that's lying around your house. I have a desk in my room where I do my one-on-one encouragement calls, and you'll know it's my desk because let's face it, who else's would it be? And under my desk, I keep a pair of boots that I wore every single day once I made the decision that I didn't want to wake up in my past anymore. And I began to work every day to clean the crap out of my house, clean all the things from the breakup that I was staring at that were making me feel bad. And I talk about this more in a video called Transform Yourself After a Catastrophic Breakup, which I will link in the description below. But I called these my kicking ass and taking names boots. And every time I slipped them on, that's what I would say. Even if I didn't really feel very powerful that day, I'd be like, oh, the boots are going on, so it's time to kick ass and take names. And you don't have to do what I did and rearrange all the furniture in your house, but even a deep cleaning can be pretty cathartic. Because it's like you're getting all the garbage out, and there's something to be said for not having to stare at things every day, like maybe stuffed animals that your ex got for you. You don't have to throw them away, but just tuck them in a box and put it in your closet, and then you can go back to them once you are stronger, because you are going to get through this. But I think that one of the things it did to really help me is it helped me work up a sweat every day. Yeah, I wasn't at the point where I was feeling so powerful that it's time to hit the gym and take kickboxing classes. It's all about one step at a time. And it's like you are cleansing your house, but working up that sweat, you're also cleansing your body. And continuing to move is paramount when it comes to getting over breakups. Because I know when you have been abandoned or discarded, there are some days you don't even want to get off the couch. And the night before, what I would do is I would sit down and I wrote every single thing I was going to do the next day, especially right after a big rejection. Make this list as detailed as you possibly can. I don't care even if you have to put brush your teeth on there, because that's what I had to do. And the next morning, it didn't matter what my mind was doing. It was like, okay, I haven't yet learned how to stop ruminating intrusive thoughts about my ex, but that's okay, because today I can control my motor skills, and it doesn't matter what my mind was doing. All I had to do is look at the list. All right, it's time to brush my teeth. Now it's time to shower. Now it's time to wash my dishes. Time to go to work. And what's interesting is I still do those lists every day. Now, it's no longer necessary for them to be that detailed anymore, but those lists have evolved into something like, for a while, it went from helping me after a rejection, and then they went into helping me stay detached while I was dating. And now those lists have turned into something that helped me live a full life. So no matter what happens, I'll be okay. And I'll go ahead and link that video at the very end. It's called 7 Steps to Win Your Breakup. And you will win this breakup, because it is incredible the transformation you can make once you finally realize that you can get through hard things. And maybe the person you should have been fighting for all along wasn't your ex. Maybe it was you. And I would bet that it was you. I will not sit here and lie and say that my mind was always in a great place while I was doing these things. I'm human. I'm just like everyone else. And when someone you love breaks up with you, it's really hard not to think about them. But we can keep moving. We can go for a 5-minute walk, write it down on the list. You know, we can do our dishes for 10 minutes. And if it's a particularly hard day, like a birthday or Valentine's Day or an anniversary, pick one thing you're going to do that you love that day that's just for yourself, and take a picture of yourself doing it. Because even though that picture might not bring you a ton of comfort right now, I'm sure you would prefer to have your ex in the picture with you. Just trust me, even to this day, every time my photo app gives me a memory of something I did to empower myself on a day where I should have been miserable, I'm like, hell yeah, that was me fighting for myself. And if I could fight for myself through something like that, then no matter what happens, I will be okay. And it just turns a breakup that should have been the worst thing that ever happens to you into something that helped you grow into the strong person that you were always meant to be before all these crappy toxic people in life started to knock you around a little bit. And you take your power back little by little. You become unstoppable. And if you want to know how to win your breakup in 7 steps, I'll put that video right here. My name is Maria Adriana. You did not have to live my life, but I certainly hope you can learn something from it. As always, thank you for visiting The Other Half. Now go get that power back.